everybody, this is B back again. I know my schedule has been wompy all over the place and I apologize. I have been bad at keeping I've been bad at keeping up with stuff. It's been super busy and school's trying to kill me already. We're on week 2 and now I'm starting to see why people said, "Are you sure you want to do all 6 classes of 18 hours?" But anyways, Molly, thank you for getting us a space out here. Everyone tucked into their food. You gobbled it up early, only practically obstructed by the awkwardness of eating from a skewer. Running around with the other kids had helped you work up an appetite. Mr. Holden, what do you do? Well, I do a lot of things. Do you play golf? Only if you count mini golf. One look at Lizzie's stricken face confirmed that she did not. She could enjoy the occasional round at a mini golf place, especially if she had an audience to impress, but your sister took her passion very seriously. Even then, it's been years since I gave it a shot. Cove groaned at the feeble pun. I don't know why I said pebble. Feeble pun. Mom chuckled. You weren't sure she was responding to the joke, Cove's annoyance, or Lizzie's offense.
Don't worry about it.
Just as well, she'd be dragging you to the green every week. That's because I got dedication. You need a good drive for 2 to get far. Mr. Holden nodded, clicking his tongue in appreciation. Cove looked from his father to your sister, lost in the conversation. Outclassed in golf and wit? I don't get it. A drive is a type of golf shot. You should give real golf a try. Maybe I'll even teach you some tricks. Don't try to change my dad to be more like you. Lizzie gave Cove a dirty look at the accusation. Mommy felt the need to move the topic ahead before it got heated.
Oh, nice.
That's really sweet of you, but I'm sure Mr. Holden's busy. He might not have time for another hobby. Yeah, I don't think I'm made for that. Still, the offer is appreciated.
Why?
Then tell me something you really do already. You just go away every day. I like scuba diving, though with the business that's more work than play these days. Surfing and reading and snorkeling. Those are things Cove likes. Oh, it's a good thing you live by the beach. Oh, let's save, because I don't know how that's going to work. With throwing Cove under the bus. Like that. Mr. Holden exaggerated, puffed out his chest. What can I say? My boy's got good taste. He takes after his dad in that way. The sun had been setting when you got your food, and by the time you finished, night had truly fallen. Your sticky fingers were the only remaining evidence for your meal. The kebab had a great combination, more than the sum of its parts. The seasoning of freedom, to choose every ingredient yourself, was what made it something to remember. Rising from the table, Mommy held up her water bottle. Okay, now that the food is gone, you've got to wash your hands.
Okay.
B, Lizzie, hold them out. Lizzie complied, coming over and cupping her hands together in front of her. Mommy splashed some water over her fingers and Lizzie rubbed them together, working off any residue. Here. Mom passed her a paper towel from her purse and Lizzie used it to dry her hands off. Your turn, B. You readily held your hands out to catch the water. Cupping Lizzie's, you washed your hands. I hate sticking on my hands, so taking care to clean every crevice between your fingers before wiping them dry. Nearby, Cove had taken his own course of action, wiping his hands on his pants, leaving a stain with his fingers had been. Mr. Holden shook his head.
Come on.
Let's clean that off, pal. He scrubbed at the fabric with a scrunched up napkin. Dad, it's not that bad. When everyone was cleaned up, or as clean as they could be with the limited facilities, Mom spoke up.
Let's go.
Let's go make one last check at the coolers and restock on drinks before the fireworks show. No time. We have to get a good spot. Everywhere's gonna be taken. How about I go ahead and save space again? You can meet up with me in the field after getting the drinks. Then I'm going with Cove's dad. I'll find the perfect place.
Okay.
Sure thing. I could use an extra pair of eyes. Mommy shook her head ruefully at Lizzie's even more enthusiastic than usual attitude. Alright, meet Cliff. Who's Cliff? Oh, it's Cove's dad. Me, Cliff, and Lizzie can go find a place to sit. Pam, Cove, and B, do you want to get the drinks? Okay. I need to help pick a spot. I don't want to get drinks. You consider. Okay, I'll get all the stuff we need. As Molly and Lizzie and Mr. Holden headed off into the wide open field where the fireworks were being set up, you joined Cove and Mom in returning to the cooler where you picked the drinks earlier. Even as you approached, you suspected you wouldn't find much in it. Where it had originally been stuck to the brim, it was now half empty. The ice, which had cushioned the drinks and kept them cool, was largely melted, with only a handful of pieces floating like tiny icebergs. Slim pickings. The drinks that remained looked to be bottles of plain water, but you caught a glimpse of something more colorful amongst them. Mom rummaged around in the cooler, excavating a couple of juice boxes from the bottom in the process. Aha! B, Cove, you could take one of these if you want. The perks of helping. Oh. We're gonna get a juice box. Cove hesitated but decided to take a box for himself. When you were each loaded up with your chosen drink, plus extra bottle or two for someone else in the group, Mom's phone started to ring. She juggled the water bottles over into the crook of her arm and looked at the caller. It's Mommy. Hold tight while I get this. Hey, hon. How's it going? Did you find a perfect spot already? She nodded along to the call, punctuated the ahas as Mommy gave her directions. Catching your eye, she gestured towards the grassy area. We got a place. Come on. We better hurry before the show starts. You and Cove jogged after your mom, who led you through the field and the separate groups. You and Cove jogged after your mom, who led you through the field and the separate groups of people assembled there. Back to the rest of your families. Hello, we're here. We come bearing drinks, though there wasn't much left. The three of you handed over the spare drinks. You gave Lizzie a bottle of water, but she had only eyes for your juice box. B and Cove have juice. They helped get the drinks. You got to pick where we sat. Don't be selfish. I'm not. Good, then you're going to thank us for bringing you your very own water bottle. Thanks. Once everyone had been equipped with a drink for the big event, you sat on the grass beside Cove and waited for the magic to begin. Most people in the park had taken a seat now, with a few stragglers silhouetted back at the tables in the distance. A few rambunctious kids were still dashing about, but their numbers were steadily decreasing as their parents called them over and restored order. Someone bearing a cardboard box weaved between the groups, pausing it very so often. You nudged Cove and pointed. What are they doing? It looks like they're handing something out. I can't make out what it is. I hope it's not drinks. Mommy chuckled, but Lizzie and Cove were now watching the bestower of mysterious goods keenly. Are they going to come to us too? Mom softly put her hands on top of your sister's shoulders, as if she feared Lizzie might bolt over to the stranger. Lizzie didn't even glance at her, eyes locked on the potential prize. I don't know.
In that case,
We'll have to wait and see. You were intrigued. Studying the man with the box closely, he gradually meandered nearer. You could make out what he was handing out. Small items to most of the groups he stopped at. They seemed too short to be water bottles, but beyond that it remained a mystery. Then the box man made his way to your group. Evening, I'm handing out desserts. Any takers? There's dessert? Lizzie squealed, hopping up off the ground. The man chuckled. Ooh, ice cream. I'm gonna take that as a yes. Ice cream's on the menu. Vanilla flavored with a twist of either chocolate or strawberry syrup. Oh my god, I had these as a kid.
Nice.
Nice. None for me, though. Thanks. Same, but the offer is appreciated. I want chocolate. Can I have strawberry? And a strawberry for me, too, please. Now you're gonna have to make a decision. Chocolate or strawberry? You pulled over your mom's shirt and whispered that you wanted strawberry. You pulled your mom's shirt. You wanted chocolate. You don't want either. I'm gonna get strawberry. Reaching to the box, man brought out the requested ice creams and tossed them out. It came packaged in a little plastic cup, complete with a wooden spoon stuck to the paper lid. The condensation wet your fingers in a pleasant way.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kids, are you gonna thank the nice man too? There was a chorus of thanks. He cordially nodded and walked off to another group. The man couldn't spend much time with each group, considering how many he had to get to. You peeled back the tab that covered the ice cream and got right into your unexpected treat. It tasted amazing. Lizzie was definitely enjoying hers. Cove was too. Lizzie munched happily, but it ultimately didn't succeed in monopolizing her attention. Eyes wide, she looked at her mommy and pulled on her pants. I didn't get strawberry. Can I have some of yours, please?
Of course.
Of course, sweetie. Lizzie cooed with excitement as Mommy presented her with a dollop of ice cream and a syrup mixture. Licking her lips, Lizzie lapped it up. Mommy, come on now. Lizzie has all the ice cream she needs. She simply laughed and pinched Lizzie's cheek, then dug her spoon in again and held it out to you. I can't resist. Bea, would you like some of mine? She's already got that flavor, but that's not the same as getting a little extra from your mommy. You accepted the bite. You ate the treat being offered, much to Mom's and Mommy's delight. Cove watched the exchange silently with a blank expression. Mom, on the other hand, shook her head, a fond smile on her face. Well, you better at least give me some, too. You could have gotten your own if you wanted ice cream.
What?
What? The kids have ice cream already, and they're getting some of yours to boot, and I have nothing? Now is when you decide to be firm? Laughing, Mommy fed some ice cream to your sulky mom. She could never actually follow through with being tough. There. All better now? Yes. Good. How about you, Cliff? Would you like some? No. I'm still okay. But thanks for keeping me in mind. Cove, it's only fair that you get a choice too. Cove shook his head firmly, concentrating on his own cup. Mommy smiled. Okay, as long as no one is feeling left out. Mommy was always so nice to everyone. You looked over at Cove. He was digging into his ice cream, which bore the same pinkish red twirl as your own. Want some of mine? You held your spoon out to him. Glancing up at you, Cove cocked his head at a curious angle.
Huh?
I already have that one. I want to share anyway. Cove looked around bashfully, but nodded nonetheless. You took out a bit of ice cream and held your spoon out to him. After another furtive glance, he nibbled at it. He seemed lost in thought, almost like he was contemplating why he took ice cream he didn't really need.
Oh.
Aww. Mommy was glancing at the two of you. Her mouth was open in a smile, as if she was about to say something else, but Mom tugged on her collar. Don't embarrass them. Cove didn't appear to hear the exchange. He took the spoon into his own ice cream, excavating some and held it out for you to eat. You accepted. In the end, that kind of made it pointless. You were each just ate the same strawberry ice cream out of different cups. Your mommy did like to say it was the thought that counted, though. Hey, if you're sharing too, I'll take some. You already asked your mom to give you some. So what? Mommy was gonna let you have a bite. You just didn't take it. You can have some of mine. Wait.
So?
Okay, let's save just because I want to see the different reactions. You can have some of mine. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're the best. She enthusiastically took a bite of your ice cream before offering you a bit of hers in exchange. For you, but none for Cove. He doesn't think we should keep sharing. She stuck her tongue out at him. You're right, I didn't want it. Ignoring that, she turned her attention back to her own cup of ice cream. Then the first firework cut through the sky, whistling as if it ascended until it hit the crescendo with explosion. The park flashed as if it was alight. Squealing, Lizzie leapt to her feet. She'd forgotten her ice cream tumbling to the ground as the fireworks crackled in tiny drops of glitter in the sky. It's starting! Everyone else looked up to the sky as another firework whizzed through the air. With each explosion, Lizzie would jump into the air. The event was thrilling. It was impossible to tear your eyes from the scene. The loud noises hurt your ears. You covered them. It was a kind of neat. You shrunk back, hugging your knees. It was impossible to tear your eyes from the scene. Cove sat by his dad, captivated by the sky sparkles and flashes overhead. Mr. Holden watched the fireworks scene impassively. He did smile at you and even gave a thumbs up when he noticed you looking over. Mommy hopped to her feet, pulling Mom with her, pushing her into joining Lizzie and joining in the tandem with every crack of the firework. Mommy then bent down to offer you a hand up too. You got to join your family, beckoning for Cove to join too. Cove got to his feet, nervously tailing after you as you stood with your family. Your mom's face lit up. Literally and metaphorically as you approached. The five of you shrieked and leapt along with the sparkles in the sky, not trying to contain your joy at experiencing the sights together. The fireworks continued, some twisting like a coil of a spring as they arched in the air, others shooting straight from the ground and shattering into a million tiny specks. Every color got its spotlight in the show, from fiery reds to eerie greens and blues that could rival the ocean. I don't see any blues and greens, all I see is pink and yellow. The show built up to the grand finale that boomed over the park and filled every inch of the sky, the twinkling lights representing the full spectrum of the rainbow. That had fueled you while the fireworks were going off was sapped dry now that the show had finished. You collapsed into a giggling heap on the ground, suddenly aware of how your legs ached from your exertion. Cove tumbled down with you, his expression gleeful. Mr. Holden watched his son with an expression much happier than the one he wore while watching the show. Lizzie gave the final whoop of delight and shared a high five with Mom as Mommy shouted for an encore into the night. You didn't know what that meant, but you liked the way it made Mom laugh. Though the sun had gone down long ago, the air on your bare arms was warm. You took in your giddy family, their spirits buoyed from the firework display, then your new friend and his father, who looked happy in their own, quieter way, and smiled. This had been a pretty special night. Okay. We're about to run away, apparently. After a good night, we're gonna run? It was early, and you were on your way to the playground. Lizzie planned on joining you there later. You weren't sure what she was busy with right now. Older kid stuff, you imagined. That was okay. What was forefront of your mind was if Cope might be free to come too. As you walked the familiar streets, wondering how you might find your neighbor, he appeared right in front of you, almost as if he was a mind reader. Hi, Cove. Is he getting bigger? Or has he always been this tall? Hi, Cove. Can you come to the playground with me?
No.
No, sorry. Cove looked strangely serious. It had been an even bigger deal than whatever mystery thing Lizzie had to do. I'm leaving, Bee. What? Where? He shifted, and your gaze was drawn to the backpack slung over his shoulders. Cove liked to stuff things in his pockets from what you've seen, but people sometimes carried bags with them. It hadn't been very attention-worthy until now. The backpack was decorated with cartoon waves and dolphins. He gripped one of the straps tightly with his good hand. I just wanted you to know. Cove didn't glance up and met your eyes. You started to grow worried. But where are you going? Can I go too? I'll come with you. We're gonna go with, I'll come with you. He looked up at that. You hoped he would agree, but instead he shook his head. I'll come back though, sometime. I don't know when, but we can do stuff then. He directed a fragile smile your way. Without another word, Cove turned on his heel and started to walk away. You can't say anything. See you when you're done. Bye. Wait! He kept going. His focus wasn't on you anymore. What was that about? You watched as his back grew smaller and smaller. Then you realized that you were still standing in the middle of the sidewalk. You thought about your earlier plan of playing at the park. Suddenly it didn't seem as fun anymore, not without Cove. But it wasn't like you could force him to play with you. He had things to do. You stayed there. You could play at the park some other time. It wasn't like it was going anywhere. You can't bring yourself to leave like this. You didn't move from your spot. You just continued to look on quietly. It didn't take long to realize that he was just going up the street. You were positive there was nothing good over there. Not the park, or the beach, or the store street, or his house, or anything. He was new. He might not know what you did. You jogged down the street to catch up to him. You slowed down once you reached his side. He glanced at you from the corner of his eye and frowned. We're like, wait for me! You slow down once you reach the side. Okay. Go away, B. I just wanted to say you're going the wrong way. There aren't any places the way you're going. His mouth twisted further. He didn't appreciate your warning. I'm still going. What? Or why? Why? What are you doing? Walking. Why can't I come with you if you're just walking? Cove let out a deep sigh. You got the feeling that he was starting to get mad at you. I told you, I'm leaving. I'm going to be gone for a while. Okay. He's getting mad at us. I just want to see. I still want to go with you. You can't. Why not? Cove came to a sudden stop. You almost kept walking ahead of him because you weren't expecting it. My dad doesn't know. If you come, you'll get in trouble when he finds out. You felt a knot start to grow in your stomach. You're not supposed to be leaving? His expression was grave. He shook his head. Dad isn't home right now. I left him a letter, so he won't get confused when he gets back. But you can't tell anybody about this, okay? You can pretend you never saw me. I won't tell anyone that you're going. I still want to go. I don't care if I get in trouble. Save. Don't do it all by yourself. Cove's hard expression wavered. You could tell that he hadn't expected you to say that.
Really?
Really? You don't think it's a bad idea or something? Nope, it's like we're going on an adventure. It's not a big deal, right? We're gonna have fun. I don't know. But if you're doing it anyway, I should too. Ooh, lots of decision making. I don't know, but if you're doing it anyway, I should too. His lips curved into a smile.
Okay.
Okay, you can come. You grinned, pleased that he gave in so easily. You thought it might take longer since he was so set on going alone. You turned a bit in the middle of your sidewalk, and so did Cove when he saw. You pointed over your shoulder with a thumb. Let's go to my house first. I can get my backpack. We can't, sorry. If we're going to be away, I better take some stuff. It's not that. I don't want our parents to catch us. Your moms could think it's weird we have bags. They might ask. We don't have a lot of time anyway. He motioned to his backpack, patting it with his hand. Its front bulged out slightly.
It's
Don't worry, I packed snacks. It'll be alright. You wish you could bring your backpack along just to be safe, but his explanation made sense. Alright, we can leave. Cove smiled. He seemed to be in much better spirits than when you first ran into him. You're glad. He wasn't always this upbeat. That was fine, though. Otherwise, he wouldn't be Cove. But you liked seeing him smile. Cove took the first step, and you mirrored him. As one, both of you ran up the street. You were off into the unknown territory. You ran through the first few neighborhoods like that, your feet pounding on concrete. Whenever one of you got tired, you'd take a break for a minute. The moment there was sound, you'd be off again, in case someone you knew might realize what you were up to. Because of how cautious you were, the two of you didn't run into anyone, not even other kids enjoying their summer. It was like you suddenly become criminals, always worried if someone was on your trail. As tense as it was, you were still glad when you got the opportunity to take a proper break. Cove waited for you to stop once you got out of the residential district. The houses disappeared, broad storefronts taking their place. You were all the way in the business part of town. This was the first time you come here on barefoot. Before, one of your moms always drove you to this place in their car. Cove leaned up against a nearby tree and wiped sweat off his forehead. You braced your hands on your knees, breathing hard. You looked over at the road ahead. We're so far. A strange expression flickered across Cove's face at your words. Before he nodded, he spoke again, still huffing. My mom brings me and Lizzie here for shopping. Yeah, I've never been here before, not without Dad. He looked pleased by that. We're doing good. It's not even nighttime. You were starting to feel good about it too. You were still unsure. It was weird worrying to be here without your parents, but kind of cool too. You didn't even think Lizzie had been this far by herself. Sure, you were here with Cove, so you weren't alone, but still, this was turning out to be a good time. Cove slid his backpack off and unzipped it. You watched curiously as he stuffed the hand in and searched for something. To your delight, he pulled out 2 juice boxes and offered one to you. Here. Thank you. I was getting thirsty. The two of you took a moment to unwrap the straws and poke them into the special circle part of the box. The juice was warm, but still good. You sighed contentedly after your first sip. Your throat was beginning to ache from how dry it had gone. It really had been a while since this all started. As you took another sip of your juice, your gaze drifted to Cove's bag. He hadn't closed it yet. What else is in there? There's still a few juice boxes left. He peered inside and began to list off the items as he spotted them. I got some snacks from the kitchen, too. Chips, muffins, bananas, candy. That was already a lot, but he kept excavating more. I took a couple of clothes, a flashlight, a first aid kit from my dad's bathroom, and a blanket. Oh, and some money my dad gave me a while ago that I haven't spent yet. Your mouth made a small halfway through his lengthy list. You brought a lot of stuff. I wouldn't have thought to grab a flashlight or a first aid kit. I told you I was going away. You didn't know what to say to that. The little small Cove had been wearing earlier was gone by now, like it'd never even been there in the first place. You watched as he zipped up his backpack and slipped it on. He started walking without a single glance over at you, though he did still take small, unhappy sips of his juice. For some time, the two of you went forward in complete silence. The more ground you covered, the more serious Cove seemed to become. He hadn't looked at you or said anything in a while. He just taken your empty juice box from you and stowed it away in his bag. That was it. You knew there had to be more to all this. The sun dislodged itself from the place in the sky, dipping lower and lower. The street lamps came on. It was as if they were anticipating nightfall. You tried to convince him to go back. Okay. We're gonna keep walking. He's mad. He's upset. Even if it was late, you weren't ready to turn back, and neither was Cove. The two of you continued to trudge against the storefronts. Silence fell over you again. You had no idea how to break it, or if you even wanted to. People had said that it was a really tiny town, but to you it felt absolutely gigantic. Eventually the business part of the town ended too. There was no sidewalk anymore, only long expanse of road. You walked on the grass instead. Not even that was enough to stop him. Onward was the only option. Your journey stubbornly continued. The hunch you had about Cove's possible destination soon became certainty. There was only one way out of town, after all. Oh wow! So we are gone. We're actually leaving the whole town. Now leaving Sunset Bird. Okay, I'm gonna have to save here because we are out of time. We're out of town and out of time. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope to see you next video. Bye!